connected.
Hello cosplayers and creative enthusiasts, welcome back to another episode of Create All About Crafting. My name is Raven Miller, I'm a cosplayer for 10 years and I have specialized on creating life-size baby dolls. In our past episodes we had the amazing opportunity to do the very first steps of crafting a life-size Noctis Lucis Calum doll. I'm sure many of you who have already seen this will remember how we, crafted a little bit on the head and the arms and feet. And since this takes a very long time, today I, will do some of those steps at home and prepare them for you. So I thought for today, let's just have a really cool chat and hang around and talk about wig crafting, because I know that's a topic that most cosplayers burn for and that surely is also interesting for many of you guys. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat, and yeah, I'm looking forward to your questions and suggestions, and we'll just basically go from there. All right, so by the way, I just realized that since this show started, I never ever took the opportunity to show you a little bit around. So I think let's start this episode with having a little look beside and check out my crafting space actually. So this is basically a very cool thing called the Original Scrapbox. That's the company's name, and they're specialized for designing special furnitures for crafters and people who have special needs in storage. As you can see right now, the space is pretty empty, but please, don't mind. As we progress and go further and further in the episodes and projects, of course, this, whole thing will be filled up with content, and I really can't wait to, see all of these things filled up. So right now, I just took some of the stuff that I already have and that I will use for future projects with me, so it's not at all, totally empty. We have some of the silicone stuff here. I have some of my wigs here that I'll show you, since this topic today is about wigs. So let's start with Daenerys Targaryen. This is one of the wigs that I just, recently made. She's really beautiful. I really like this character so very much, and as you see, I just invented my very own braiding design, because the basic idea behind this cosplay was to create a Daenerys armor that is, fictional and not into the series yet. So my focus always lies in creating unique cosplay content and emotional content, and I'm always digging deep into the characters, their stories, and what lies ahead of them, or what their experiences have been in the past. So for example, Daenerys was a perfect opportunity to think about how she could look like if she would really succeed as the queen of her whole world, and how she would look like when she claims the Iron Throne. So that was the idea behind it. As you can see, it's a lace front, and of course, since I have used her already on the cons, you can see that some of the makeup is still there. I just need to gently wash it on the next occasion, but before that I really wanted to show her to you because I really like this braiding style. And as you can see, the difference between this wig and any normal wig that you can buy is basically she has double or triple hair volume. Of course, I added a lot of, additional hair volume, so it all falls so nicely, and there is so much volume just here, and it's quite heavy. So yeah, definitely. I definitely like Daenerys. I really hope that, I can show you some picture content soon. And if you're interested in seeing the armor, let me know. and I can take the armor with me and show them to you in a future episode. I think that would be nice. Just let me get the stream again so I can see your comments. Okay, perfect. You're still there. I don't want to miss your comments, guys, so I need to keep an eye on that. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, Aulea. Aulea is also a very nice character that I really enjoyed making. She also needs a redo, but she has served me for over a year now, so I think that's also quite an achievement for a good styled character wig, that they really last a long time if you take care of them properly. Aulea is actually the mother of Noctis Lucis Calum, and I was the first cosplayer to, you know, cosplay her and actually giving her a face and appearance. And I'm doing her for 2 years now, actually. Pretty much after the main game came out, I started working on her. And of course, in the meantime, I have gone as in every OC, meaning original character, meaning not, you know, a character like Noctis that you already know and that has a name and a face and a history and everything is quite tight and, you know, set in stone. With an OC, with an original character, you have very, very much creative freedom and space that you otherwise don't have. So, of course, OCs are, you know, things that I always enjoy to do as an artist, because I can be totally creative. I can put all my heart and souls and ideas into it, and yeah, just let my imagination flow and run wild. I really love that. So, basic idea behind this design was how she would look like as a crowned queen, and I have actually created a slightly similar look to the famous Queen Elizabeth of Bavaria. You know her as Sissy, because I think that, yeah, she was a really good role model for Aulea in terms of her character and history and attitude. So yeah, basically instead of stars, I got this cool flower design that I think fits perfectly to the Final Fantasy style, and that's her crown. So yeah, I've done her for 2 years now, and I've actually switched designs, and that's also something, a good tip that I can give you guys. Never stop, just continue to be creative, and if you're not happy with the first design, you know, it doesn't really matter. Just keep on working and more. If you have any questions concerning Aulea or my Daenerys project, please feel free to write them in the chat, and I'll be happy, of course, to answer them. But I don't want to bore you any longer with background stories. I think we'll straight ahead go to a little wig styling, and yeah, I'll listen to your questions, and in the meantime, let's get started. Yeah, first of all, the head. For styling wigs, you definitely need a styrofoam head. I think that's what most people, even the beginners, agree on. And as you might have noticed, guys, I always have male styrofoam heads for, you know, working on my wigs, and I've actually been asked by people why. So the simple reason behind using a male head instead of a female head is simple. It is just anatomy. A male styrofoam head has basically the same size and the same shape than most, you know, normal living persons. So that means that a female head is in most cases just too small for styling. It will look perfectly on your female head and you will be happy with the result, and then you take it on your head and yeah, nothing fits anymore. So this is a drama and an experience I think that most cosplayer can relate to. I'm sure it has happened to many of us, so take this advice. If you're into wig styling yourself, start with a male head and, you know, just go from there. And also, as a beginner, I normally really suggest people to to try it on in several steps. You know, just don't go on with styling until everything is finished and then put it on and be disappointed. Check back from time to time, make sure, you know, that everything, you know, is in the right place as you think it is, because sometimes that can be a struggle. So what I basically use for styling my wigs is this very cool thing here that you can fixate on your table, that will give my head stability, and it will make crafting so much easier, and it's not expensive. For those who like different style and who might not, you know, mind to invest a little more money, you can find the same armatures with a standing feet, so you can work totally free. But I always work on a table, because then I have my basic stuff with me and I personally feel comfortable. So and it's cheaper, by the way. So this is what I use, and this is what I, you know, suggest for the beginning. As you can see, I've secured the wig onto the head with some needles. That's important. And you can also see that in this case we are working with a lace front, meaning that in normal wigs you don't have this net at, you know, at the beginning. I really love to work with lace fronts as often as I can, because they give us a really natural appearance and a very nice hairline. But it's really up to you. It's all about personal preferences, and of course also a budget question, because of course naturally normal wigs with a ponytail are much more affordable than lace fronts. Because I do fewer projects a year, I really want to make sure I can, you know, take the products that I'm, you know, really happy with and that I trust in. So personally for me, I, you know, prefer to have 2 or 3 really great wigs a year instead of, you know, 20 bad ones. But as I said, as always, it's totally up to you, and it's up to your goals and what you personally focus on in your journey on becoming a crafter yourself. So yeah, what can I say about wigs in general before we start? I think very, very important is the quality of the fiber. And of course, naturally, most wigs are purchased over the internet. It's really, really complicated finding, you know, randomly the quality that you're really looking for and comparing different quality levels. So the only advice that I can give for the beginning is that Ada Wigs in US has a very decent basic quality for fiber, and also they have some cool ponytail wigs that really make styling so much easier, especially when you're a beginner and you're not feeling comfortable with advanced wig crafting. So buying an Ada wig for beginning, I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, is not a bad way of, you know, getting your hands on an example, at least how a decent wig quality should look like, and then you can try out, you know, smaller sellers around the world and just compare. If you don't like it, send it back. It might cost you some time, but it's definitely worth the effort. And yeah, sadly, the only tip I can give you when purchasing wigs is look how many recommendations they have, what the people say, how they rate the, you know, the company, and at the very end, what you really get, you will feel it in your hands. A good wig quality like this one, the fiber feels smooth. It's not sticky, you know. It's even if I take a strain, as you see here, it's not going totally out of shape. There is a certain, how can I say, softness to it, and they do not tangle so easily. The bad quality wigs always tend to get a little bit tangled in the process. So combing should be relatively easy. You can also use some helpful tools to make it more easily stylable. I will show you that later. And actually I can show it to you right now. This is a product that I really love to use. It's called Silken Child. It's a detangler. It's actually used for mostly for natural hair like alpaca or mohair. I use it a lot on my dolls to prevent tangling and to see during the process of putting hairs on a doll, which is called rooting. I use this actually a lot to, you know, get an idea in which direction the hair is flowing. And we can use this to some extent also here. It has a nice smell and it will basically, you know, help a little bit getting this in shape. So another tool that I like to use, especially with long wigs or curly wigs, is a detangler like this. I just used the cheaper version. I think the original's name is Tangle Teaser, but I'm not completely sure. So I always try out the cheaper stuff first before I go to the expensive products. But in some cases I can really recommend the original. I will definitely tell you if that's the case, but in this case I think that the Tangle Teaser from, yeah, the cheaper company definitely works. And as you see, yeah, a good quality wig should not lose so much hair. This wig is losing hair because I already worked on it. I already have, you know, put some hair, some more hair into it. So I don't really worry about that. This is to be expected. But when I put it out of, you know, just, you know, out of the package, it had a really nice and clean look, and it didn't lose so much hair. So that's something that I definitely keep in mind when ordering wigs. Testing when combing slightly, whether, you know, I still have the amount of hair on my wig after doing a few combings, or if I lose everything. And I'll just begin at the end gently, because I do not really want the tangles to get worse. And you can also use some clippers actually. Just trying to secure my head here. Sometimes it's a good tip if you have a situation like me right now, where you need the head to be more secured, you can put in a pair of scissors, and sometimes that will work perfectly. And yeah, it's something that you always have laying around, you know. It's a good tip personally, I think, to use what you have around, instead of focusing on just the fancy stuff that you can buy. And as you see, I do not put much pressure while combing, because it will destroy the fiber. That's a step where you, as always, need a little patience and, you know, just... But I think the Tangle Teaser works quite well. Basically, all I need to do is do a few slight brushes. The front already looks very good, very nice. And as you see, the back part just follows naturally. Of course, how much hair you need to adjust to a wig, how much hair you need to still put on a wig also strongly depends on the hair color. As you see, the colors that are light, like white or blonde, they're quite opaque, so you can see the net pretty easily, which is what you do not really want. With a black, you know, color or dark colors, it's much easier, and in general, you need less volume. As always, if you have specific or general questions about wigs, wig styling in general, then please feel free to write them in the chat so we can talk about that. That's basically what this question answer round is for. And I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts and ideas, and until, you know, more people have joined the chat, I'll just continue to work a little here. Okay, this is something. I want to comb out separately. And worst case, you can still use your scissors. But I don't think we will need this. Right now it should be fine. Okay, I think the basic volume looks fine. It doesn't have any bald spots, and also the rear now looks very good, very nice. I think this is enough volume for what I'm aiming for. So I think I can safely use this. If maybe if I want to go through the work, I could, you know, still put some more materials on in here. And so basically this is the part where you mostly see the net or the hair. So in some cases with light colors, please check out, and if you need, you can adjust, you know, just a few more hair in this area. I will just show you what you can use for doing that. So let's go to my cool crafting space here and get out the wefts. Okay. So some companies offer extra wefts and they look like this, and if you unpack them, you can see. We'll just unpack them for you. Okay. So this is how your wefts arrive if you order them, and you can see it's important to pack and storage them well, because you do not want them to get tangled too much. So that's basically what you can use to work with. You just basically need to undo those two bands holding them together. So. Basically what you will do right now is take the length that you need, you will measure. Of course, let me show this to you. Of course, at first you need to separate and locate the area where you want actually the additional hair to be set. And I will show you right now how you can do this. As you can see, the wefts on the head are, you know, adjusted in different layers. And what you can do right now basically is putting one of those wefts in the space between, and then you can either glue it on the wig or you can sew it. I personally prefer the sewing method because it's yeah, how can I say? It lasts longer. I never made very good experiences with gluing, but I know that many artists do this and they're having success with it. And yeah, do whatever you personally see fit. You can, you know, cut them to any length that you wish, and you can basically just adjust the wefts in the spaces between those two layers that are already in there. And you can basically, what I personally do, I work my way up from the bottom to the top, and I already did that. So to come back to what I said earlier, in case that I decide that I still need some material, you know, in this area, I can basically, you know, take away and clean my workspace here so that the space between the two lines are visible, and then I can just adjust them. And we will not do that today because I've already done that for you, and we'll straightly begin with styling. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the wefts in case you've never seen some single wefts before and how to use them. And you simply, by the way, you simply cut it with your scissors. And if you don't feel comfortable doing, you know, taking one long strip, I would really suggest that you can also, you know, use shorter parts, because if you glue it well or if you sew it well on the ends, it will not be visible with the final result if you have, you know, just a big one or several smaller ones going around. So just feel free to be creative and use your own imagination and what works for you. I can detangle this. Okay. And I know you can't really see this, but you can really feel right now the difference after using the Silk Child lotion. You can really feel it's so much easier now to get through the bangs. And yeah, basically wig styling is 80% brushing and combing, and yeah, especially with longer wigs. That's just my personal feeling. Brush and brush and brush again. So that's important, because otherwise you would, you know, risk to tangle your wig, and that would be just a waste of material. So what I will do now is I will think about what I want to craft and where I want my bangs to be. What I want to do today is to make a ponytail, a really big one. So I want the strings, I want the ears to be free, preferably if possible. So I will just now locate my ears, and I will just try to find 2 even strands. And carefully think about how much volume and space I want my ponytail to be in the end before, you know, getting any scissors on my precious hair. Okay, perfect. And as I said, guys, I'm just randomly, you know, crafting here things that I, the wig and saying things out of, you know, random. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask me in the chat and we can talk about it. I'll be happy to answer your questions and chat with you about your own projects. I'm very, you know, curious to you know, hear your personal actual wig projects and what your biggest challenges were, if you're having any troubles, what you love in crafting, and what's, you know, most difficult for you when it comes to wigs. I know there are a lot of questions and a lot of, you know, tricky steps involved with some wigs and wig styles, so yeah, feel free to use your chance and let's have a chat here. Don't worry, I'll just look up to my reference picture to remind where I want the different strings to go. By the way, folks, what's your favorite wig color? I personally have a weakness for white and silver gray wigs. I think, yeah, this becomes obvious when you are looking through the wigs that I've crafted so far. You can find most of them on DeviantArt at WhiteRaven Cosplay or on my Facebook account. I've crafting wigs since 2011 and I have my own way of doing things, so do not, you know, be surprised if I do things a little bit more different, some things more different than others, and I think some things I'll do just as other artists, but wig crafting is like any other crafting. It's a personal thing and you have to bring your personal ideas and your flow and your style into what you create. So of course every artist prefers his own methods and is happy with different tools and styling methods. So okay, so I'll cut down the side parts and I want this part to naturally, you know, flow with the other hair in the back. So I will take care of this later and I'll focus on the side parts for you. Just making sure. And I stay true to my reference picture. So, and just to be on the safe side, I will cut down and I will leave the ponytail and the ponies actually in the crafting process a little bit longer than I normally would, so I have some more space to, you know, adjust to my personal facial structures. And especially if I craft wigs for other cosplay colleagues, then I really, you know, depend on having, you know, some more extra, so I can really cut the strains to their personal structures and make everything perfect, so everything looks just nice on them, because it's no use if it looks perfect here on the styrofoam head. It needs to look just as well on the cosplayer that's wearing it. Somehow it always hurts me to make the first cuts. I don't know about you guys, but I personally love long hair, and yeah, I'm naturally very reluctant in cutting down my wigs, but it has to be done. So trying to cut this evenly. Okay. By using this kind of scissors, you can get and create some really cool strainy looks. And of course, you know, when I'm doing my wigs, I always make sure that I cut the ends with these kind of scissors, so the strains will look more natural. It will give you a more natural flow line. And basically many things that I do here are just intuition. Yeah, I know some other artists and wig crafters, they have a fixed guideline, but I personally just go with the flow and see where it takes me. So I always try to create, also craft three-dimensional also on the wigs. I really want my wigs to have a three-dimensional look and not, you know, a flat appearance. And for those who have already seen my wigs, I've crafted Inuyasha and Kagome, and I really love the big bangs and need them. So while working on the front part here, my team will be so kind to show you some of my past wig works. Many of them actually out of the from 2011 until today. There's also some nice Final Fantasy stuff in there, so you get a rough impression on my personal style and, yeah, my personal interpretation of a cosplay wig for a character. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. And to all of the watchers that have just joined the stream, this is Create, all about crafting, your crafting stream with me as a host. My name is Raven Miller. I am the cosplayer behind WhiteRaven Cosplay Artwork. I have been crafting wigs since 2011 and I have crafted some character wigs that got some attention in the internet, mainly my Inuyasha wig and Kagome wig. And I recently crafted Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, so please feel free to watch more of my wig work on my social media platforms, on Instagram and Facebook, of course, and DeviantArt. And as always, if you have any questions during the stream, this is mainly just, you know, a chilling question and answer round, and yeah, a gathering with the topic all about cosplay wig crafting. I'll be happy to answer your personal questions about cosplay wig crafting or cosplay wigs, and I'll be happy to read your personal projects and challenges in case you are a wig crafter yourself. I'm really enjoying the stream so far, guys. This is quite nostalgic because cosplay wigs were my first focus in cosplay crafting. So of course, cosplay has so many topics and, you know, so many possibilities to be creative, and honestly, I never was the sewing queen. I'm, you know, always amazed by seeing all these wonderful tailor talents out there, but that never really was, you know, my main focus. So, yeah, I found out that I'm a wig person. Artificial hair or hair in general seems to work quite well for me. And I know other of my colleagues are really, really amazing wobbler transformers. They can use the stuff and create almost everything out of it. So every artist has its own, you know, focus and yeah, his own talents. Also when it comes to using different materials. And before I got into crafting dolls, actually, I was regarded also in the US scene for crafting cosplay wigs. So yeah, I'm very happy that I can show you this today, and I hope that we'll use the opportunity crafting more wigs in this stream in the future, if you wish so. It's up to you, and we'll go on this amazing journey together. And by the way, since money is always an important topic, often when it comes to wigs, the question arises, is it really worth investing in a quality wig? So many wigs can be found for 15 or 20 bucks. So I personally find, due to my own experience, that it's definitely worth investing into a good quality fiber wig. Mainly a Canikalon wig. The fibers that we use here is all Canikalon. That's the name of the fiber. And of course, even with Canikalon, there are different quality differences. So feel free through try and error, you know, making your purchases with different suppliers, and maybe exchange informations where you made a good purchase experience in the forums or on Facebook. And I'm sure other people will be very thankful of, you know, learning from your personal experiences. And as I said, I really like to use the other wigs, but it's just a personal thing. And you are free to use whatever you see fit. And the benefit of a high quality fiber wig is that during the whole crafting process, especially when you're dealing with characters like Sephiroth, Sesshomaru, all characters that have really long hair, a good fiber doesn't tangle so easily, and all your crafting goes smoother, it goes much faster, you do not lose hair, you're not, you know, going insane with detangling all over again, because with a good fiber what I can do afterwards is I can just gently shake this out and it will be almost fine. It will just need a little brush here and there, and then we're good to go. While in a sticky, low quality fiber wig, the whole crafting process will take you multiple times. And after getting through with it myself, I can say it's nerve-wracking and definitely not something that I would recommend. So I think sometimes a few bucks extra really go all the way. I personally find cosplay wigs a very, very, not to say the essential part of a cosplay, because often, most often, you just recognize a character by his face, by his hairstyle, by his makeup and his overall look. So I personally always, you know, took great pleasure in, you know, spending time and effort in, you know, creating wigs and makeup that, you know, comes close to the character, and it naturally all evolved from there. But as I said, if you're talented and gifted sewer, then make the most out of your, you know, talent, and, you know, invest the time in sewing, and don't worry if your wig skills are not perfect. I think for many of us it's a hobby, and a hobby should be fun, a hobby should be, you know, personally rewarding as a journey that you make, and a creative, you know, path that you go and choose. So the overall fun part for me personally always comes first. And if it doesn't make fun anymore, then definitely I think it's not worth pursuing anything in your life, especially when it comes to hobbies. So as long as you're happy with what you create, do not worry so much how others will judge you. The most important part is that you feel comfortable with it, and then others will just, you know, do the same thing. Personally, for me, starting wigs is so relaxing. I could do this for hours and just chill and dream. Think about the character and its story and the content that I want to produce with it. For me, that's the most. It's as much rewarding as, you know, maybe later on going on a convention or making the photo shooting. And I know every artist feels different, but for me personally, working on such a character, it's like bringing this character more and more alive with every step that I take during the whole process of crafting. So yeah, I think that's also part that, you know, really makes it so much fun for me. Hello dear! This is currently a character from Inuyasha actually. It's a Yukai and it's Shomoru's mother actually. And I'm not sure right now whether I will do her in the original style or if I will do an own design. I've been thinking about that for quite some time, and yeah, maybe in a future stream we can, you know, see how it goes and decide as a community whether I should take the challenge of, you know, doing an own design, or whether you would enjoy, you know, seeing the classic Ino no Kami version. So as you can see, we're slowly getting there. Looking good so far. Of course, there's still a long way to go. Especially with trimming. I'm a little perfectionist, so I always like to make sure that it looks right from every angle. Yes, actually, I've done quite a lot of Inuyasha series-based characters. And actually, my Inuyasha wig from 2011 got quite the attention in the internet, because it was one of the first, at that time, one of the first or one of the few wigs that, you know, had all those volume and the original bangs and, yeah, a certain style that, you know, wasn't so present before. And in the meantime, in the years that came after 2011, I was so happy to see more and more really, really cool Inuyasha wigs from other artists. So definitely that was something that I really enjoyed seeing. It was a character that I always loved and admired, and yeah, I still remember seeing what was, you know, available, or what, you know, was there at that time, and just being able to put a little bit of your own style into a wig and make it recognizable was something that I was really, you know, happy about and thankful for. And I've done Kagome, and I've actually started my very first wig actually was Ranma. I don't know if you still know the series, guys, but it's still one of my favorite classic series, Ranma and 1/2. It's so funny and full of really good characters and storylines, and gets me every time. What I'm doing right now is basically thinning out her ponytail parts to give an overall plastic impression, and maybe I'll work in some more of the wefts over there. I need to see that when I try it on, but for now I think I'm very happy with just, you know, working on the lower parts and getting a good flow into this pony that I created. And I really love this character so very much. I know we all have those, you know, characters that stick with us and that, you know, get our attention and they never let us go, and Ino no Kami definitely is one of those characters. I know we see her only once in the whole series, this is so sad, but just the way she talks with her son and guides him without him even recognizing him. She guides him through his quest of becoming a warrior, and yeah, that was so amazing and touching to see that she's just as her son, she's not so good in showing her feelings, but at the end we get this feeling that she really cares for her son and that he can always count on her when he needs something, and that really that made me so emotional. So yeah, I've always wanted to do my own version of Ino no Kami ever since I did craft BBC Shomaru 2 years ago. So basically one of my next projects, doll projects, if I have the time between my commissions, is definitely, you know, trying to craft a better version, an upgraded version, Shomaru Baby 2.0, and then cosplay as Ino no Kami. I know 2 years ago I showed you the little lord together with his father, and now I would really love to create some family time again with Ino no Taisho and Ino no Kami. But yeah, we'll see exactly when that will be the case. It will all depend a little bit on my time frame that I have, but this is something I definitely see coming in the future of WhiteRaven Cosplay and Artwork. And it's always, you know, fascinating to see that you can, as an artist, you dive into so many different topics and you're getting fascinated with so many things, but there are always those few things and characters that always, you know, yeah, make you come back for more, and Inuyasha definitely is a series for me to do so. And I'm very happy to see that lately, at least at conventions, Inuyasha cosplays are becoming more and more popular again. I haven't seen so many of them in the past years, and this year suddenly they popped up everywhere, which made me very happy, because it's an old fandom, there's not so much new stuff coming in the future. We expect almost to nothing, but still there are so many people there who like and enjoy the series. That's so cool. that restores my faith in humanity. That good stuff really never dies. And touches, you know, generations of cosplayers. Not only, you know, my generation who just grew up with it on TV, but also the younger folks. That's amazing and really, really heartwarming to see. So this will be Mama Sesshomaru. And as we all know, the first love always is your mother. So I think that's a good choice. When you like a character very much, that you know, cosplay one of the parents, that's a really cool thing to do. For me, personally. I really enjoy this so much. Okay, I think that I got very far with, you know, just trimming the dry hair. I personally prefer to first do the trimming on the dry hair because then, you know, I get a better feeling. And the wig dries on a convention anyway, so I do not want to disturb the natural flow of the canicolon fiber. I always try to keep this in mind, how the natural flow of the fiber is. Some of the stuff that we can use to, you know, basically style our wigs is what many cosplayers already know, and I highly recommend. It's the Got to Be series. There is 2 forms of glue. That's one, the black one is the super glue. This one is called glue or Kleber in German. And then there is the spray glue, the hairspray. It's one of the strongest hairsprays, and if you combine this, for example, with hot air from a hairdryer, you can create crazy things, and you can really come very far in styling wigs. So this is something that I always use, and something that I discovered some time ago. It's InstaShine. Not Instagram, but InstaShine. I really like it. You can also use it on your own hair. It gives a really beautiful shimmer, so when I'm finished, sometimes I like to add a little bit of that. And for now, I just want to get an overall impression how this will look when styled, and I definitely just get my fingers a little wet and will gently work it in the hair that I want to style. So after that, I think I'll be ready to do some final cuts and get the strainy look that we're in the end looking for, because this is an anime character and they all have very strainy hair. And it also doesn't hurt having one of these here available in your working area. It makes it so easy to get, you know, some parts wet quite easy. you can just see where the lace begins and this natural hairline. It will look beautiful. We can also adjust those hairlines, and I'll show you that definitely in a later episode, how we can do that, because that's a topic for another show. But right now I'm very happy to have a lace front for this character, because I think it will give a very cool touch. And I think I haven't seen an Ino no Kami yet with a lace front, so this will definitely be interesting to compare to a normal non-lace front wig in the end. And by applying some glue on my hand, I just prefer this method. You know, can take my comb and work in some of the material and then, you know, get it into the strands. As always, every artist is doing things differently. I'm not a professional hairstylist, so of course I will do things different than someone who is doing this as a profession. I'm just a cosplayer trying to create crazy bangs and much volume in my wigs. So, as always, feel free to use the methods and the tips that seem to fit for you and your purposes. Oh. I think I fixed a lot of the front part already, since we are slowly approaching the end of this show. And I'm really happy to say that what I tried worked just fine. Now I will let this dry, and then I can, you know, restyle it again, and I will use it to create all those little mini strains that Inunokami is famous for. So it's always, for me personally, a good thing to work in some of the glue, let it dry, and then restyle it again. But as I said, I work on every project differently, and sometimes you just follow your feeling. I really hope you liked this episode so far, and in a future episode, if you want, we can even, you know, dive deeper in this topic of wig crafting, and I can show you how I style it, how I finish the styling of Inunokami. As you see, we've now finished a main part of the front part. I will definitely try to work in a little bit more volume, and I can show you this in another episode if you wish so. It's very important for me to, you know, keep my community engaged and show you the content that you like to see. Definitely what we will be seeing in a future episode, in the next episodes, will be my progress of Noctis Lucis Calum. And since this is a very long and time-consuming project, guys, I'll definitely keep you entertained in the meantime with some quick tutorials, question-answer rounds, and also interviews with other really talented and amazing artists. Really hope that you enjoyed this episode about wig crafting basics, and definitely let me know in the comments if you would like to have another wig tutorial or wig crafting episode in the near future. Thank you so very much for joining Create All About Crafting today. Special thanks also to my team from All Your Base and for TeamSpeak for giving us the amazing opportunity to, you know, show you the fantastic and diverse world of crafting. Next episode will be next Wednesday, 4 p.m. So see you soon. Have a great time. Take care and bye bye.